What's up everybody, Steven Z Killer here. It's time to bring you a new reaction video. But before that, 75% of you guys watching right now are not subscribed. This means two things. You're either brand new to the channel or returning. And I do hope that this video gets you to hit that subscribe button today. Last year, we didn't hit our goal of 400,000 subscribers by the end of 2024. We almost got there, and we were so close to 100,000 new subscribers in that year. But I still need more people to join and subscribe to get my channel to hit 1 million subscribers. This upcoming year, the new goal is 500,000 subscribers, and I need you to hit that subscribe button today so we can hit it this year. I know we can do it. What's up everybody, Steven Z Killer here, bringing another reaction to SpongeBob? Yeah, we're checking out something SpongeBob related. So, to be 100%, I'm intrigued on how well this is gonna go. When it comes to this channel, I've not really done anything SpongeBob like. I can think of a couple things SpongeBob related that I may have reacted to in the past. The death battle between SpongeBob and Aquaman, I believe, is one I watched. Probably way back years ago during the time period of me reacting to Animation Rewind's cartoon fight clubs. Don't doubt there's some SpongeBob stuff out there that I probably watched, but I really can't think of anything more recent besides the death battle. But I have had people ask me to react to some stuff SpongeBob related before, but nothing like too crazy. But this is because I recently watched this channel that has been doing these infection, alternate universes, breakdown, theory, lore, explaining videos, and they've been doing really well on the channel. And one of the ones that you guys asked me is one of the newest videos that dropped 4 weeks ago and has almost 500,000 views, and we're going to check this one out. The SpongeBob pandemic. So we're going to see the sponge virus infection, alternate universe lore explained. And of course, if there's a follow-up video in the future, we'll definitely have to check it out. If there's other videos from this channel you want me to react to, let me know about it. You guys are showing the support on these reactions, and I'm going to bring them back, of course, because you guys show the love and support for these reactions. Anyways, I'm going to smash the like button on the video. Link will be down below. You should do the same thing. And, of course, I'm already subscribed, and you should do the same. Now, of course, like I said, there's lots of different shows, probably theories, lore videos on this. And I've been only watching a handful of things from this channel. So let's continue on and check out the SpongeBob pandemic. So,
you guys have been asking me to cover the SpongeBob pandemic, or AKA the sponge virus, created by Shairik, I believe is how you say it. And it actually took me a while to do this one because I had to translate the second half of the series. But now that I've actually finished that, I will admit that this AU is pretty good. Now, to understand what's going on in this AU, we're going to have to start from episode 13, which actually shows us how this whole pandemic started. We see SpongeBob starts his day by saying good morning to the sun.
I like this too because this gives me a little bit more on some things I probably never would have watched. Like, in general, like, I like this type of stuff. It gives me that same vibe of, like, creepypasta, or just, like, a little bit of a horror element added to something that I never thought would have horror, as in SpongeBob.
Brushes his teeth, and then heads out to start his day, thinking that there's nothing that can ruin this beautiful morning. But then he runs into Sandy,
but like
who
I said,
asks him if he would like to be a test subject in an experiment that she's...
Oh, that's never a good thing. And I said this, if you guys do, if you guys show a lot of support on this, and you guys have other suggestions SpongeBob related, I might consider checking out some more. So, let me know what other SpongeBob crazy videos you want me to react to in the future. And if this video does well enough, I might try a couple of those suggestions. So stay tuned for those reactions.
He's running. She then takes SpongeBob back to her home and has 3 items on the table. One of those is chum, the other is a Krabby Patty, and then this thing in the middle is like some type of combination of the two. And it seems that this is what Sandy has been working on or
Okay.
experimenting on. She basically wanted to develop a way to make chum more edible for the citizens of Bikini Bottom. And while we don't know exactly why she wants to do this, we do know that chum is like the remains of dead fish ground up. So off rip, this experiment is kind of gross and definitely unethical. But since SpongeBob trusts his friend, he takes a bite of this new meat, and moving over to chapter 1, we can see just how that turned out for him. We see here that not only does SpongeBob get some crazy
Ooh.
virus that is eating away at his flesh, and he also has these weird parasites or fungus growing out of him. But
Oh my god, that just popped in my head. I also did watch that Meat Canyon video of SpongeBob. I don't know why. The way the tentacle come out, it just popped in my head. Yeah, that fucking grotesque version of SpongeBob where I think it was, wasn't it Mr. Krabs and Squidward literally eating SpongeBob? They couldn't stop but keep consuming him or something. It's been a while since I've seen it, but that was another video I reacted to. I believe.
but he also dies because of it. We also see that
He's fucking dead. Oh, what the fuck happened to Patrick? Oh god.
Patrick has gotten infected as well, and it seems like he came into contact with SpongeBob's body, and that was enough to infect him. And now I really understand why the creator gave the
Oh, just being near them can cause the infection to spread? Ooh, this is a scary one.
trypophobia warning, which is the fear of irregular holes. After that, we see that Mr. Krabs is also missing, leaving behind an empty shell, which means that he is possibly still alive, but we'll have to wait and
I don't know if I want to see this version of Mr. Krabs with all them holes. Oh, what the fuck?
see about him. Now in episode 2, we see that Sandy's virus is really starting to spread, and some of the infected fish
Is that
are
Mrs.
outside
Puff? That looks like Mrs. Puff. That really does. I think that's the guy who always breaks his fucking leg. My leg!
of her home. And while
Although, to be honest, I haven't watched SpongeBob in years. And I know the newer SpongeBob is just not as good as the original.
looks like Sandy is trying to find a cure, she isn't having any luck as of right now. And then we get this image of Squidward giving this 1,000-yard stare.
What the fuck?
And the reason that he's looking so pitiful is because he's looking out at a whole horde of infected, and they are slowly making their way to Sandy's dome. And I think he knows that once they start pounding on that glass, they are going to be able to get in, and that's going to put the crew in.
To be fair, realistically, that glass has to be pretty thick for the pressure of the ocean to not crack it itself. That has to be some sturdy fucking glass.
Serious danger. After that, we get a quick scene with Gary looking at a picture of him and SpongeBob, and he's crying because of the loss of his friend, but also because it looks like he's also infected. And judging
I'll be honest, I thought that was coming out of his eyeball, but no, that's definitely got to be coming out of the shell.
by how he's looking, I'm assuming that he's on his last legs. Can we get a rip in the chat for Gary? I feel like this little guy did not deserve to go out like this.
R.I.P. Gary.
In part 4, we see more people have been infected, starting with
what
Mrs.
the
Puff, and while it was hard to tell, she was actually a part of the horde of fish that were heading
Oh, I
towards
can
Sandy's
tell.
home. And based on what I'm reading here, it looks like I was right when I said that the infected were going to break through Sandy's dome. But it seems like Miss Puff was actually taken out by Larry during the attack because
Let's go, Larry the Lobster!
if you didn't notice, he was actually hiding out in the dome as well. We also see that Plankton is still alive, and of course, he's created like a exosuit. And honestly, I think it's
That's probably the smartest idea because that keeps him away and less likely to get infected. He should honestly build that for any non-infected so they could fight the infection safer-wise. Because I don't doubt Larry the Lobster, unless he was using like some type of weapon to keep them at bay, but if he was using his big meaty claws to actually like punch and whatnot, and all Patrick had to do was stand near and be around SpongeBob to get infected. Punching these motherfuckers is going to get you infected. So unless he had for some reason a big ass baseball bat, I don't know, anchor, and he was swinging that shit and keep them at bay, there's a possibility he could not be infected. But I don't doubt if he laid his hands on those motherfuckers, he was infected.
as long as this guy stays alive, Bikini Bottom at the very least will have a chance at beating this infection. Because of course, Plankton is one of the smartest people in the series, and he also has the tech to put up a fight. Next, we see DoodleBob, and not only has he avoided the infection,
DoodleBob's in this! He can't. I don't think DoodleBob should be able to even be infected. He's an imagination creation. He doesn't have human or animal weaknesses. And if he has the power of the fucking pencil, that's massive.
But he also has started like a rebellion against King Neptune and actually managed to overthrow him and become the new king of the sea. And while at first I was surprised by this, I did take a second and remember that DoodleBob is kind of OP. He literally has super strength, stamina, and was almost invincible, with his only weakness being either paper or the eraser on that magic pencil.
I forgot. I'll be honest. I was about to talk about the eraser was probably his only weakness, but no, him stepping on paper is also a weakness. Yeah, I forgot though.
Actually holding the magic pencil in his AU, he also has the ability to just straight up erase people, as we saw him do like with SpongeBob's butt crack. And he can also create anything that he can draw. So all in all, I suppose he is a pretty powerful foe, and we never know, he may have had allies helping him as well. In the next chapter, we see Sandy and Squidward looking down at Sandy's destroyed home, and Sandy is pissed. But then she gets a message from Plankton telling her to go to the chum bucket because he may have a cure, or at least be on the road to one. They then have a small moment where Plankton asks Sandy what's wrong, and she tells him that her home has been destroyed. And Plankton simply says, cry about it. And honestly, I feel like that was the correct response, considering that she is the reason that they're in this mess to begin with.
Facts, actually. For once, this is going into this, I thought it was going to be something on Plankton's side, like some type of experiment gone wrong. When I was suggested this video, and I saw the thumbnail, and I'm like, in my head, I'm like, probably Plankton tried to do some bullshit thing with getting the secret formula of the Krabby Patty, and somehow this happened. But nope, Sandy Cheeks fucked up.
Now, after their talk, we cut over to Plankton, and we see that he actually has Mr. Krabs chained up in the chum bucket, and he says, best friends always help each other, right? And as of now, I think that Plankton is trying to keep Krabs contained until he can find a cure for him. Because while Plankton is usually seen as like a bad character, whenever there's like a crisis like this, he usually steps up and he's trying to help people, so I'm not surprised.
What the fuck is this animation?
Now, in the next chapter, we see Larry, and it seems like he ended up...
What the fuck was going on in that animation, though? Giant robot?
Bad character. Whenever there's like a...
The fuck is he cutting off? What is that? That looks like... Is that supposed to be like a mutated Patrick Star? What the fuck is that?
Crisis like this, he usually steps up and he's trying to help people, so I'm not surprised.
Oh my god, the SpongeBob anime intros. Yeah, I also reacted to those things. Man, I forget how many... I actually have reacted to SpongeBob quite a bit. The anime intros, outros, Meat Canyon, the Death Battle... Probably a few other things that won't come to mind right away, but let me know down below if I'm forgetting other ones. I don't know why that one just popped in my head.
Now, in the next chapter, we see Larry, and it seems like he ended up getting separated from Sandy and Squidward. And as he's walking down the street, he sees Squilliam is infected and moving towards him. And since Larry has had one of his arms either cut off or ripped off, he uses it as a weapon.
I fucking knew it! Okay, so he had to have a weapon, and maybe... he ripped it off after the fight in Sandy's place.
And cracks William upside the head. And can we just take a moment to appreciate how tough you have to be to beat a person against the head with your own severed arm? I really hope that Larry actually survives in this AU, but this next moment, we actually see this car arrive that has DoodleBob and his minions riding it, so it's not looking great
DoodleBob.
But as of right
Big
now,
ass
it seems
eyebrows.
like they just take Larry as a hostage instead of just outright taking him out. Now, after that, we get to see that the sponge virus has finally made it to the news, and the newscaster fish breaks down the stages of the virus. Stage 1 is pretty tame, with people just feeling a bit more tired than usual. Stage 2 is where the skin of the fish actually starts to dry out and wrinkle up, as if like all the moisture has been sucked out of their body. And then in the final stage, this is where the holes start to appear on their body, and this is where they get this monstrous look about them.
Oh, God.
We also learn that this is where their bones become really weak, which is why we see Fred's leg breaks here. I also find it kind of ironic that
my leg!
It was his leg that broke first, because Fred is known for this famous line. In episode
Let's
8,
go! You played
Larry
it!
Was indeed captured, and we even see that Bubble Bass has not only survived, but is actually like a knight in DoodleBob's new kingdom. And as Larry has been taken down to the dungeons, he asks DoodleBob how he was able to take down King Neptune by himself, and it turns out that he didn't. We see that he had help from SpongeBob, who is from the episode where they discover fire. Toy Bob is next, and he's from the SpongeBob Christmas movie.
This motherfucker working with all the knockoff SpongeBobs throughout the series.
Okie dokie.
Oh
What the fuck?
Then we have Abrasive Bob from the episode called Abrasive Side, and then of course their leader, DoodleBob. And it seems like DoodleBob wants Larry to be his slave, and I'm hoping that Larry ends up fighting them, even if it's definitely going to end in his defeat. I'd rather see him go out in a blaze of glory than to be like chained up. Next, we see episode 9, and this is where Sandy and Squidward make it back to the Krusty Krab, and it's kind of funny to see that Squidward is missing his old life as a cashier. But the reason that they actually come back here is to see if there's any food left that they can salvage. And it seems while they're looking around, someone is watching them, and I assume that it was Patrick since the character has like this pinkish color about them. And then we get confirmation of this when we see a flashback where Sandy and SpongeBob are talking, and they see Patrick laying on top of his house. And
You know what I just thought of? It's even worse the fact that SpongeBob was the first infected, because when the holes popped up, this motherfucker already had holes all over his body. People would just think they're just normal holes.
while we can't actually make out what Sandy is saying because it's just a bunch of numbers, we can assume that this is when she asked SpongeBob to come be a part of her experiment, and she probably asked Patrick to join as well. But he ended up denying her. And then we see this scene.
Oh, God. I think oh! Yep, that's the fucking thumbnail face. That's what's on this fucking thumbnail for the video right there. What the fuck?
It seems like Patrick has finally remembered that Sandy is the reason that everyone is infected, and he has gone into a complete rage. We see that he actually tries to eat both Squidward and Sandy, but luckily, Plankton pulls up in his mech, and honestly, I thought that he was going to give Patrick a run for his money. But in the very next chapter, we see that Plankton's mech has been defeated, and now both he and Squidward are in Patrick's grasp. And right when it looks like Patrick is about to devour them both, we hear SpongeBob laughing in the distance, which causes Patrick to drop
What?
them, but before they hit the ground, they're caught by the dirty bubble. We also see Mr.
Oh,
Krabs pop up again.
The dirty bubble. But wait, why did we hear SpongeBob? Wait, I guess it could have been one of the copy SpongeBob's.
And it seems like he's been kind of like lured in by SpongeBob's laughter as well. But as he's leaving, Plankton has this heart-wrenching moment where he's trying to get Krabs to remember who he is, trying to get him to remember his daughter and the life that they've built together. Although part of this beautiful moment is interrupted by Squidward's dump truck right here.
Double cheeked up on a Thursday afternoon.
Oh, I was like, what do you mean? Oh, I see it now.
After that, we see a bunch of infected are actually heading towards
Why did they put so much detail on his ass right there? What the fuck?
SpongeBob's house, as if his laughter is somehow controlling them. And then we see him looking as if he's grown into the wall of his bedroom with a creepy smile on his face. While all that was happening, we see that down in DoodleBob's dungeon, there are fish here having to fight for their lives against regular infected, and also these giant infected fish and like frog monsters that are ripping people in half. And then we see Abrasive Bob walking over to the cell that is holding King Neptune. And forgive me if some of my translations are off, I'm not Russian, but I think he's basically just mocking Neptune here, saying, look who we have here, the king of the sea, looking pathetic in this cage. Honestly, you look like you lost your kingdom. Which is him obviously being sarcastic since we know that he actually helped DoodleBob defeat him. Then he goes on to say, you've been locked up, humiliated, and now you're forced to listen to me, a handsome guy in a gorgeous coat. And while all this boasting is happening, it looks like some kind of witch is looking in on Neptune with her crystal ball, and then we see someone say, I will save you, father. At first, I assumed that this was going to be his daughter, Princess Mindy, but this is definitely a male's face here. And then I remember that he also has a son named Triton, and I'm pretty sure he started out as an antagonist, but eventually he became like really close with his father. So
I didn't know he had a son.
it's possible that Triton is going to try to save his father.
I knew about the daughter, but
And with the two of them working together, I think
I also remember them like redesigning him like at least once or twice too, and his daughter.
be able to take down DoodleBob and his goons, at least as of right now. Now, chapter 12 is really short, and it just shows Barnacle Boy sitting against this wall holding a shotgun.
Motherfucker got a 12 gauge and ready. What the fuck?
And he says, things were better before. And judging by
Wait, how does a shotgun work underwater though? Let's be honest. What the fuck?
the fact that he's looking at Mermaid Man, who is obviously infected and has lost his iconic starfish mask, I assume that he's talking to him. And then we see this scene. It's kind of sad that two of the
He probably took out he took out Mermaid Man, and then maybe the second shot was for himself. Oof.
Biggest heroes in the SpongeBob verse had to go out like this, but if we're being honest, the two of them are way too old to be able to survive a
Oh, the infection would kick their ass.
zombie outbreak. So
It did on Mermaid Man.
while it's sad, Barnacle Boy probably made the right choice here. Put down in the comments what you think. Did Barnacle Boy actually make the right choice, or should he have tried to survive?
Like, to be fair, to be 100% fair, what he did to take out Mermaid Man, reasonable. Yes. Could he possibly have been some help in finding a cure? Not really, but he could have helped maybe rescue some others and went down more like a hero than taking himself out, to be honest. But he's also an old man. He's not a boy. He's a fucking old grown geezer. So, yeah.
Next, we get to episode 14, and it starts with Sandy and Squidward trying to keep the infected from breaking into the chum bucket. And they were doing okay until one of the infected got a hold of Sandy's tail and ripped that thing off. And judging by her face here, she knew she was in trouble.
I'm in danger.
They ripped off the tail. If they scratched it or something, she would have been infected, I feel like. But because they grabbed it and ripped it off, I don't think that's painful, but that doesn't mean infection yet.
And without her to help hold the door, the infected are able to break in and the crew is cornered. But right when it looks like it was over for them, we swap over to Patrick, who is back to his normal self, and he takes a deep breath, lifts his arm, and prepares to do some kind of karate move. Or at least that's what it says here in Chinese.
How's he back to normal?
He then strikes out and slices not only the infected, but the whole building and even the man ray. He basically becomes Sukuna for a second.
What?
Finally, we get to episode 15, and we get to see the destruction that Patrick caused, although he doesn't seem too sad about taking out Man Ray. But then we see Squidward come to yell at him, saying, "You idiot, Patrick, you killed Man Ray." And he also says what the rest of us are thinking, which
How the fuck are you normal? And how the fuck do you have this power?
is, how did Patrick go from a giant infected monster back to his normal self? And this is where I need a Russian person to help me with the translation, because I think Patrick says, like a fried chicken, a starfish can be reborn from his ashes. And I'm thinking maybe he meant to say like a phoenix, but I honestly don't know. Patrick is kind of dumb.
I could see him say fried chicken, but it's supposed to be Phoenix. Yeah, I can agree. I can see Patrick saying misrepresenting the phrase reborn like a phoenix, but yeah, saying it's fried chicken. Yeah,
So the translation could be correct. After that, we see Toy Bob burning the heck out of something, saying that all the children will burn in hell. And then we see DoodleBob watching for a bit until he says, "That's enough, Toy Bob." And then we see that he has fused the magic pencil and Poseidon's trident to make a new, even deadlier weapon.
okay. The trident was really fucking powerful. The pencil was really fucking powerful. Combining those two, that is world breaking in this universe.
And when he sees it, he says that is perfect. And with this new power, I may have been wrong to say that Triton will be able to save his dad. I think he is definitely going to need some backup now. The last scene shows SpongeBob talking with Mr. Krabs, but I can't make out what they're actually saying to each other. And also, I wasn't able to crack this code here.
Language.
Even when I let AI look at it, it wasn't able to figure out anything. But in the description of the original video, there was a paragraph in Russian that actually translates out to a conversation between Krabs and SpongeBob, where Krabs was trying to explain to SpongeBob that he has infected a ton of people and now they're out of control. And also the rest of Bikini Bottom is now in danger because of that. But SpongeBob in this new infected form doesn't seem to understand and simply says that he wants to infect more people so that he has more friends. And while it's hard to say for sure, I'm thinking that this is probably the conversation that these two are having here because it just makes sense. I'm interested to see how this AU will continue moving forward because
the
it seems
infection
like
has corrupted SpongeBob's mental thought process of things, and seeing as I'm infecting others for more friends. Yeah. Ooh, I like this. I love these dark stories. Since I started watching these videos, I have to say, I love this stuff. It's fun.
Squidward, Patrick, Sandy, and Plankton are the only people clean of the infection, and not like in DoodleBob's dungeon. But most of them are either injured or, in Plankton's case, without any high-tech gear. And while Patrick may have this newfound power, I don't think he's going to be able to win against DoodleBob just with that. What I suspect is that Crab may be able to convince SpongeBob to use some of the infected to help fight against DoodleBob, since we see that SpongeBob seems to have some type of control over the infected. And the reason that I say this is because if you remember, in one of the chapters, SpongeBob Laughter was able to actually draw a bunch of the infected to him. And I think since he was the first person to be infected, that they're probably connected to him in some way. But as of right now, that's just my theory. And as more chapters release, I'll make sure to cover them so we can actually piece this all together. But with that being said, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to check out this video on the screen here. Subscribe today to become a member of the Earth Force, and we'll see you tomorrow with another one.
All right. Well, we'll definitely be checking out more in the future. If you guys have suggestions of other alternate universe lore explain infection videos from this channel, by the way, once again, show your support. These videos are absolutely fun to watch, enjoyable, and all that stuff. So I definitely want to check out more. And if you guys have suggestions of what I should check out next, let me know down below. And until next time, check out more videos. I upload every day. Check out the video from yesterday. It was an 1.5 hour long one. And don't miss out on live streaming. If you're here watching this, I don't know when I'm uploading this, but I should be streaming the new Five Nights at Freddy's Secret of the Mimic later today at some point. I could be live now as you're watching this. Or if you're watching this several days later, the stream that you missed out on should still be available on the channel. So go check that out. Either way, I'll see you guys next time. Till then, later.
There's a name that shines bright, bringing joy to the night. Steven's killer, he's the king of the screen. With his epic playthroughs, he ranks as a meme. Laughing out loud as we watch him explore. From horror to laughter, we can't help but want more. With a heart full of passion, he shares his delight. Steven's killer, take us on tonight.